I hope these have been productive days. I think so. We had three really good, intense kind of start of the year practices. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We took Wednesday off and then have gotten back into game prep mode. There's obviously it's the great challenge of the preseason is now you throw a league game in and I've got so much respect for Steve, the program that he has built. They're one of the top defensive teams in the country every year. This year is no different. Cliff in the middle provides a lot of different challenges from his ability to run, shot block, and then he can guard multiple positions as well. So a little different Rutgers team, and they've got a little smaller backcourt. This has been a really big physical team in the past in terms of their guards. Simpson is having a phenomenal year. Noah Fernandez, coming over from UMass, has provided them some offensive punch, shooting it, and as well as on the defensive side. So a team that presses, a team that is, I think they're number one in the country in length of possession on defense. Their press eats up a lot of clock, and they play into a lot of short shot clock opportunities with their opponents. So a team that is very good, a place that's very challenging to go win at, and that's our challenge as we head into Saturday afternoon's game.
Is there something that stands out about the progress made this week?
Yeah, I think just the intensity. I think just we've worked very hard on execution on the offensive side. We spent 2 of those days almost all offensively, trying to clean up some things. Just little things. I think we've played up and down a lot, which is very unusual this time of year. So it's nice to have those breaks and be able to do that. So. But just kind of an execution, cleanup, especially on the offensive side.
Give an update on Coleman or Nico?
Coleman's been in practice. Nico's on the road to recovery, so he'll continue to be going through that process.
Do you expect Coleman to play?
I hope so. We'll see as game goes. He's practicing. He's been an active participant, and we'll make that on decision game time.
I guess if you're facing a short shot clock offensively, what's important in terms of maybe half-court execution if you've only got maybe a limited time?
Yeah, you've got to do a great job of screening. You've got to do a great job of execution. Sometimes not all of your pieces are going to be exactly set the way you want them to be. And I think that's one of the advantages that we have is we don't have to have exact pieces anywhere. We can kind of flow into our open stuff, our flow. But again, you've got to be very diligent in what you're doing. You can't waste time, and you can't take 3 or 4 dribbles and try to get people set up to run a set. That's when they are very successful. Good thing is we don't do a lot of that.
What did you learn about your team through this first month and this non-con that you can carry into these 2 games?
I know I like them a lot. I think we've got a big upside. I think that the Marquette game showed us that. I think that defensively we've been very solid as we've been, I think we're 11th today defensively. I think we've still got a lot of room to grow. And I've seen a lot of growth, especially in our young guys and our newcomers. Marcus has been a guy that's been I've been extremely pleased with. He's done nothing but fill the stat sheet. He's playing multiple positions. Quincy has become an elite rebounder. 15 in 1 game's a ton. So I've been very pleased with the newcomers, and you play a lot of those games without Coleman. So there was opportunities there. That's the downside is we haven't had Coleman, so we haven't kind of developed that flow offensively, and we've tried to work on that this week.
Does it make it easier with that flow, just given Coleman's been here 4 years and kind of knows what you're after, or is it just a whole new thing with the new team?
No, it's chemistry. Coleman gives you a nice luxury because he can handle it, he can pass it. He's He's a guy we've seen make 5 or 6 threes in a game before. He can really shoot it. You know, the Kansas exhibition, he made 4 or 5, and you know, that opens the floor up. So you know, Dane was dominant in this stretch. You know, shooting 70+% from the field, and finding opportunities for him was vital. So I like that. We played a lot of different lineups here in the last few days, which is positive. I'm excited about that, to see that growth as well.
Luke told us last week that practice time allowed you to build off your base schemes offensively. How has that process gone, and what do you expect in there?
Yeah, you know, the thing is, that's the beauty of the preseason. You find out what works and you find out what doesn't, and you know, I think, and then you can build from it. Our base stuff we feel great about, and you know, I thought we got a little bit stagnant at times in terms of driving the ball, in terms of not getting to the foul line as much. You know, we got there 26 times in the second half in the Kansas exhibition, and that's something that this team has to get back to. And you know, we've got guys that have the ability to do that, and we've got to continue to grow on the offensive rebounding area and score. But again, we've added some things, and that's been nice to have the luxury and have the time to fine tune those things.
As a whole, what do you expect to learn these next 3 games, Brad?
Yeah, a lot. That's why we play them. You know, there's no tougher place to play than the RAC. Then you go to Madison Square Garden and you get a Final Four team with everybody back, who's, you know, they're playing great. I haven't watched them yet, but my staff tells me they're playing well. You know, and then you go to Tennessee, and you know, I've known Rick forever, and you know exactly what you're getting when you get one of his teams, and you know, pick to win the SEC. So you know, we've got to find out how tough we are. We've got to find out if our defense travels. We got to find out who's got the ability to elevate their game when they need to against top level competition.
So Terrence being as consistent as he's been from 3 to start the year, how much does that help you guys offensively?
A lot. You know, he's 40+%. He's making shots. We don't want him to fall in love with that, you know, because he's an elite driver of the ball. He's a guy that you know, should be one of the tops in the country getting to the foul line with that ability as well. But you know, it shows that hard work pays off. He's spent a ton of time in the off season working on that aspect of his game. So you know, it just creates more space. I think Luke has helped. I think when we get Quincy and Marcus shooting it like they're capable of, Draven shooting it like he's capable, I think that you know, this becomes a really, really potent 3-point shooting team, which then makes Terrence really, really hard to guard.
And you mentioned Quincy's risk before. How's that progressing? And like, is that something you think he'll have to deal with?
No, I think he's good. I think he's good now. I think he's still on the road. He's still getting treatment on it every day. But you know, again, I went through this last 3 days and watched all his makes last season. And I mean, you know, he's a kid who shot it at a really high level, and you know, he's you know, when you're in a little bit of a slump, or you're fighting an injury or whatever, you got to keep shooting it. And you know, I've told him the only way I won't play is pass up shots. So he's got to keep shooting that thing, and those things will start going in. He'll have a night where he makes 4 or 5 here pretty soon.
You have pretty solid base defensively in those first 6 games. What did you maybe address in the last 2 weeks where you've had in that practice?
Scouting report mistakes has been a big key. You know, we've got to know. You know, I think that's one of the things with young teams in terms of what we struggled with last year. This is a veteran team, but we're making too many for the maturity of this team. You know, this team should have games where they have 2 or 3 scouting report mistakes, and we're making, you know, twice that, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's really practicing boredom, practicing the same stuff over and over and over again until it becomes habit. Most of them are communication-based mistakes. Those are the things that we can avoid. We have to eliminate. You know, and then it's processing. You hear a call, you know, especially in a ball screen, you've got to process, you've got to shift your feet, and if you do that late, it's not good. So we've worked really hard on that, and again, we've got to continue to you know, do what we do every day in terms of working on our ball screen defense.
They're top 5 in the country in turning people over. What do you need to see out of your team to make sure you handle that well?
Yeah, just, you know, I don't get too wrapped up into early stats. Sometimes you know, they turn people over. The press comes at you in a couple different waves. It comes at you with, you know, run shot clock. Sometimes they're a little more aggressive. You know, pass the ball to the open guy, you know, and that's, they're going to collapse when you get the ball in the paint. They're handsy. Noah Fernandez has got great hands and quickness at the guard spot. But you know, I think Kansas is 2 or 3 in defense right now, and we did okay against them. So we just got to pass the ball to the open guy and be ball tough.
If Coleman is limited during this week at all, what does that mean for Amani and what you need out of him as a freshman?
Well, he's the one guy in the gym right now shooting. It's not for lack of work. He works his tail off, and you know, Amani's very high IQ. He does a great job of connecting offensively. He's a great passer. He's got great feel. You know, I think he's still figuring out, you know, in the interior where he gets his points and how he gets them and angles. But there'll be no doubt he'll have to be a you know, a guy defensively that keeps being physical, a guy that keeps blocking out, and you know, his numbers you know, can always be dialed up at any time.
It seemed like whenever you and Steve's teams get together, it's one of those parking lot brawls. Is that something you've seen as well? And how much is it just one of those you better bring it from a toughness standpoint?
Yeah, we've set basketball back a couple times, you know, in a couple of games. But yeah, you know, I think that I have tremendous respect for Steve because of the way he goes about it. It's very similar to us, and you know, they've got really tough kids, and he's built a program that's, I think he's maybe in year 8, a year ahead of me maybe, and I think he's found success because of toughness and because of grit, and usually when 2 teams get together like that, it can be a little ugly at times, and I don't expect tomorrow's game to be any different.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.